This is Sawyer's Pheasant Tail Nymph. I'm going to to tie this fly I'm going to use a wire. Now you just start it onto your hook the same way you would do with your thread. You want to put down a layer. You need to be really careful when you're using the wire, especially when I've not got a ceramic bobbin. Now just come down till when you let go of the wire it sits in line with the barb. Now I've left the tag end on here because it's going to form the rib. Now the body is, I'm going to use, this is pheasant tail, it's a cock pheasant. And if you pull the fibres 90 degrees from the stem, you'll notice the tips line up. I've got about 9 or 10 fibres here. Bring them up, pull them off from the side, and you'll notice the tips are nicely lined up. Now this is a size 12 hook I'm using, and basically you want the tail to about 3/4 of that. I'm just going to tie that in on top, a few pinching loops at the back, 3 is what I usually like, and then you take a thread in front and just work your way up till you get, well on this hook, size 12, I'm going to leave it about 2 or 3 millimeters before the eye. Now I'm going to counter rib or counter wind this, which is basically the opposite from which you wind your thread. So if you take your thread starting from the bottom, you take it towards you and over. I'm going to do this, I'll start from the top. If you do from the top and you go away from you to start with, what you want to do with this is start at the top and come under towards you. So just start to wind your peacock, your pheasant tail up. Now I'll tell you what that does later on. Now just cross your thread or cross your wire over, keeping these points on top. And you keep your wire tight at all times. I've just put a couple of turns in there, and then I'm just going to come down with the thread. I'm not going to come down with the thread yet, I'm going to keep the thread there. And now get your rib, and the opposite which you wind or wound your body on, we're going to come the opposite way. And I'll tell you what this does when I'm finished winding it. There, now bring your thread over, catch it in and put a 90-degree bend on the wire. Keep your wire nice and tight and just come in along here like this. Just trim these off. Now don't trim your wire using your pair of scissors. I mean, I've got an old pair of scissors here that I use just to trim it short when I'm winding them down. So just come in, keep taking turns in front of the other, turn in front of the other, and trying to keep your pheasant tail on top of the hook at all times. There you go. Now come to when you get till you get in line with the eye. Come back up. Go back down. I'm going to do that once more. Down. Back up. And that is your thorax. Now you just pull that over. I'm just going to tie that in just now, but I'll talk about the counter ribbon first. First I'll just get rid of the waste piece. Just wiggle it. And eventually it'll break off. There we are. Now as you counter rib it, if you're winding the fibres that way, they're going to sit like that. So then when you take your rib's just going to slide down in between them like that. So there's your two fingers are the pheasant tail fibres. If you put that, your rib will just slip in between them if you're ribbing it the same way. Whereas if you're counter ribbing it, your pheasant tail fibres will be going like that, and then your rib will be coming across like that, and you can see there one finger's catching in 3 other fingers, which is just securing the pheasant tail as you go. So now for the thorax cover, you just want to take the ends of your pheasant tail, just flatten it out on top, just use your nail, which I haven't got because I bite them and it's a bad habit. So just take them and I'll have to just try flatten them with my finger. That's fine. Now turn on top, keeping that turn nice and tight. Come in and whip finish. 1, 2, 3's plenty. Now just wiggle that, it should come loose. Now with your ends, I'm going to cut these about 1 millimetre or so. So you've got the tag ends like that, and that just forms wing buds. And that basically is your pheasant tail nymph. Your pheasant tail nymph. You can use these, it's a fly that'll catch fish throughout the season. From the start in March all the way up till October, November, December, it'll catch you fish all the time. That's basically it. That's just you can tie hundreds of these up in a very little amount of time, and they're excellent flies, so they're definitely one to have in your box, or a good few to have in your box anyway. So that's your pheasant tail nymph.